So, yesterday, thanks to the marvellous power of the internet, I was having an exchange over the internet with my old friend from university, Helen Lewis. Known her since the mid-1980s when we met at the University of Ulster at Coulgar. And we've maintained the friendship over years and distance. Nonetheless, I was at her wedding. It was still a marvellous time and have such fantastic memories of times at university. Sometimes I show a picture of people. I'm not doing that today, but we're on the phone and it turns out that she is facing some challenges in her life at the moment. So I said, being the kind of friend I am, I'm like, I am going to go back to our dim and distant past and recreate a cocktail that we invented back in the day at university there when we were young and idealistic and also having a good crack at uni. And that drink's called the Coulgar, and we named it that because the her name used to be Helen Coulson, so it was the first part of her last name, and with Elgar, I had Gar there, so it became the Coulgar, which it sounded great and it was much better than our Helric, I will tell you. I'm not even going to go into details about that. And also, to market, you can probably hear Sign Your Name by Terence Trent D'Arby playing in the background. We were going out to clubs, there'd be groups of us, but we flattered ourselves that there were a pair of people who fancied us, and every time they looked like they were getting interested, we would slow dance. I mean, we were good friends. There was no romantic alliance there at all, just solid, good, fabulous friendship, and we did that to this song, and so that brings back really happy memories of those good days. On Fridays we'd be out, of course, and so I'd always wear, if I could, I'd wear red socks with my Dr. Mines, but I'd also have this kind of cool red shirt. I thought it was cool. I look at some of those photos, I'm not so convinced about that at all. Anyway, I wanted to go back because really that cocktail that we invented, it may not have been the greatest cocktail in the world, and it may have got us drunker than we should have got drunk when we're going out drinking at uni. But nonetheless, I think that spurred my interest in cocktails, and now many years later, here I am making cocktails on videos and inventing cocktails. But this was the first one, the Coulgar, collaborative venture between me and Helen, and I am going to recreate that now. When we were talking yesterday, I said, well, maybe you should tweak it a bit, make it a bit better, and da. But no. In honour of our friendship and in honour of the years and in honour of what that was, we are going with as it was. So let's go. Helen always was classier, right? She's much classier than me, and her drink of choice of Cointreau. I think of classy, and then I also think of her hair, because I've always had kind of short hair like this. That is why I got beaten up for looking like a squaddy, I think. But Helen, long, glamorous hair, fabulous hair actually, and so much so that when Blondie's Atomic came on, there's this whole line about, oh, your hair is beautiful. It's like, man, that is written for you, Helen. Anyway, classy Helen was, I want Cointreau in this. I'm like, okay, that is very good. Let's have some of that. And so we're going to go with what was a Northern Irish measurement at the time, which is a quarter of a gill. Now, a gill, how much is that? It turns out a quarter of a gill is approximately 35 millilitres, around an ounce and a quarter. But in England, they used to have a sixth of a gill, 25 millilitres, about an ounce. And it's like, wow, skinflint, tight-wadded, English people with their small measures. Anyway, so it was a larger measure in Northern Ireland, which I thought was always, and there's me mocking America, it's teaspoons and cups of measurements, but yeah, there we were with gills. So I'm going to measure in a full 35 mils, ounce and a quarter, quarter of a gill of Cointreau. Now, I was a bit less fancy. I mean, if I had been a frat boy, I couldn't have chosen a better spirit. Tequila. I was reading tequila, and I'd read Under the Volcano by Malcolm Lowry, part of my English degree. So I really loved the idea of Mexico and tequila and mezcal and all of that stuff. So anyway, tequila for me, and it is again another quarter of a gill of that going into the glass. Now you look at this and you start realizing for what we're about to do to it, that's a lot of alcohol right there. So as I recall, now memory's a bit fuzzy, can't be 100% sure, but I believe we split these. So we had half, more or less, I'm going to spill this a bit, of each of that in our glasses. No ice, nothing like that. But we had a mixer, because what we're going to do, and this is why I'm sitting down, by the way, we used to mix it with something called Babycham, which outside of the UK, I don't think anyone really knows it. It is a sparkling perry. That is a pear cider. And it come in these little cute bottles with a baby fawn kind of, like a baby deer jumping over, like Bambi, jumping over the top of it. And the special champagne-like glasses that were made. And I found out today, actually, champagne wouldn't have existed if cider makers hadn't figured out a way to carbonate their beverages, and that back in I believe the 17th century. So that was an interesting fact, and it was really the Brits that started carbonating drinks like cider and also still wine, which the French they adopted, and then, well, their drink, it turns out, was way better and actually maybe a bit more successful than champagne. So therefore we had Babycham. It's the kind of drink you give to your kids when they're like 12 or 14 or something, as at Christmas, on Christmas Day or something. It's low, not very alcoholic. It's about 6% or so. But I can't get champagne here. Oh no, I can't get Babycham here. I can get champagne, but I can't get Babycham. And so what do? Well, it turns out that there are a lot of pear ciders, and so I am going to go with this pear cider, because that really is what perry is pear cider. And it's from Yakima, so it's from the state of Washington. It's a little bit stronger than Babycham. Babycham is about 6%, 6.9, but I think it'll do the trick. And this is what we did when we were drinking our Coulgars, was open up the bottle of Babycham, and in it goes. And by the way, with this as well, it goes a beautiful sort of smoky colour like that. It's wonderful. And then this is what we did. Yes, it was a slammer, and it is not the greatest drink in the world, and that is not as sparkly as it should be. But nonetheless, the taste is there. And here's a funny story. I used to, we'd do those. I don't know, who can explain anything you do when you're a young university student? But I remember thinking all the time, it's like, why is my leg always wet? My left leg is always wet. And it turns out, after slamming it, I'd always go put my hand down on my leg, and it would be all wet from the top of the drink. In fact, I just did it there. So whatever. But there's two of these. And Helen, you are not here. Nonetheless, I'm going to drink, and it's not the greatest drink in the world. But every time we get together, we always think, are we going to have another one of these? And it's a stupid drink, but it brings back such happy memories of fantastic times. So you know what, Helen? There we go. In that goes again, about the same amount of this as there would be in half a small bottle of Babycham. And here we go, my friend. I even had to remember to put my hand on my leg. That's how long it's been since I've had one of these. Helen, I'm thinking of you. Take care. Bye.